Hey, gentlemen, unfortunately, I have to hop off right now. Warren will give you the rest of these answers. Thank you so much for hopping on this call, and we will definitely communicate. Absolutely. Thank you. Bye. Hello, everybody. I hope I am audible. I was just finishing up another Zoom call, and so that is why I am delayed by a couple minutes. Please let me know if I am audible or I have to change my audio settings. I'm testing out this new webcam, and so I don't know how to use it yet. And hopefully it works out, or I learn at least how to use it. I'm good, says Mackenzie. Thank you so much for the affirmation. Meeting password. Someone is asking for the meeting password in the chat. I believe that was emailed to them if they registered. But let me check up on that. What is up with this autofocus here? How do I fix that? We will give everyone, as customary practice, another 6 minutes to get on. 6 minutes until we begin. In the meantime, I will try to fix my camera. I am trying to get this audio system, which Javon was working on this call this morning with the training, or last night, where he had music playing. I'm going to figure that out too. 1 second. Trying to get 4K recording. Hope everyone is doing well. Like I said, we will start in approximately 3 minutes. 3 minutes, we will begin the call. Hope everyone is tuning in, having a good day, good night, wherever you guys are in the world. For me, it is 8 a.m. No, not 8 a.m., 6:30 a.m. New Delhi time. I am in the Invest campus here in Bangalore. We are just finishing up our night shift, heading into what is going to be a wild day for our day shift. And so exciting stuff for us. If you're in Toronto, it is 8 p.m. London, 1 o'clock, New Delhi, 6:30, Hong Kong, 9:10, 9:05, Sydney, 12. Sorry, I'm just reading off all the clocks that I'm looking at. Let me begin the screen share. Welcome, welcome, welcome. MSBA, Money Association, westbank.com. All right, guys, you can tell your guests we have 2 more minutes before Shorupan gets started. And your rocket chat is not working? What's that? Yeah, cool. My rocket chat actually just started to work perfectly on my phone. Yeah, I know, it's weird. It acts up for sure.
As long as I log in, it goes somewhere in Africa.
Oh wow, but you're probably not connected to the right server. Anyway, I'll fix it tonight. Let us rock and roll. GXLive trade markets. GX broker. All right, guys, I am going to begin right now. Just finishing loading the last screen share video that I want to play here. Beautiful. All right, welcome. My name is Shorupan. I am the CEO and co-founder of Global Exchange. I am tuning in from our beautiful Invest campus in Bangalore, India, to bring you this Ignite My Finances opportunity webinar. I'm actually going to stop on a long shift. And I'm excited that you guys have all chosen to spend your evening with me. If this is the first time you are listening into what we're doing here at Global Exchange, I want to congratulate you on taking this opportunity to learn about a really interesting asset class and what I deem to be the most important technological and financial trend of the 21st century, and kind of how we plan on taking advantage of it at Global Exchange. If you're already a broker, if you're a new broker, if you are not a broker but you're a customer, you just want to learn more about the platform you just signed up to, again, I want to welcome and re-congratulate you on making that decision to take advantage of this asset class. So a couple of housekeeping rules. I apologize in advance. I talk really fast. That's just a bad habit I've picked up over the years, trying to say too much too quickly. In addition to that, I use a lot of jargon. I try to tone that down for these webinars because I know that some of the people that are attending are new, but I do have the bad habit of using a lot of crypto jargon, a lot of computer science jargon, so I apologize in advance for that. Number three, sometimes my Wi-Fi or Ethernet here cuts out because as soon as people start using it at scale, almost like 150 people work in this campus, so that will start to depreciate the quality, and I want to apologize for that in advance. Lastly, this call will be recorded and is on YouTube. I am testing out a new camera, so I might be kind of blurry because it's auto-focusing, but this camera should actually be doing some wonders for my Zoom calls. So without further ado, let us rock and roll. Oh, and another thing, I'll be screen sharing a lot, almost the entire presentation, to show you guys the platform and different elements of the market. So please make sure you're watching, because if you're not watching the screen, and a lot of the things I may say might not make much sense. How I break down my presentations is very simple. I take four kind of categories that I want to address, and I converse upon them. It's not really like a formal PowerPoint or anything like that, mainly because all of this information is in my head, and it would be harder for me to put it in a PowerPoint than just to communicate it with you guys. The first element that I always go over is the parent company, Invest. You see all the Invest branding behind me. Obviously, we're an Invest campus. There's an Invest bank. There's an Invest group. What is all of this? I will talk about the parent company and its endeavors and what we bring to the table as a platform creator, as a influencer in the crypto space, and as a global firm that operates in 6 countries with over, at this point, 200 employees and 900 brokers. Then I will go into the cryptocurrency markets. I mean, this is where I spend the majority of the presentation talking about the developments in the cryptocurrency markets over the last decade, because it is the most important timing within financial services, I believe, to take advantage of the next secular trend. And then I kind of expose what's the most ideal way to make money in the crypto markets, and kind of talk about something that most people in this space don't talk about, which is becoming a platform provider. Thirdly, I talk about how our products actually deal with that. You know, all of the things, all of the opportunity that has emerged in the cryptocurrency space. How does Global Exchange's platform deal with that, in terms of solving problems that are necessary and taking advantage of market opportunities? And fourth, I take the time to talk about why you guys are actually here, how you can make money from this opportunity, how you can actually take advantage of Global Exchange to position yourself within this great opportunity. That's the four elements that I will be going over, and hopefully you guys are able to learn something valuable and take it with you. The one thing I would say is that if you have any questions, please put it in the chat, or at the end, I will open it up for you guys to become a fellow panel host with me, and you can ask the questions directly on the call. So the first thing, what is invest? And at this point, I will begin my screen share. 1 second, let me just toss this over here and screen share. So I hope at this point you guys are able to see my, you should at least be able to see my, it says CoinMarketCap. Can someone confirm that they see my screen and it's CoinMarketCap? CoinMarketCap.com. I'm running my mouse amok here. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Okay, so where did this all begin? This began with this venture called Invest Bank. Again, the parent company behind Global Exchange was started by me and my co-founder, Warren Carson. Both of us are originally from Toronto, Ontario, which I deem to be at this point the tundra, the Antarctic. That's where I was born, that's where I grew up, and I've spent most of my life. But it's a fabulous place. I haven't been around much there since Invest, because Warren really watches over a lot of our North American operations, and I get the pleasure of spending a lot of our time here in Asia and Europe. But what we originally did was extraordinarily controversial. We started this company called Invest Bank at the end of 2017. For those of you that were in the crypto markets at the end of 2017, you guys were probably really happy that you were in the crypto markets, because the price of Bitcoin was a whole 20,000 US dollars. And that means that over the course of 2017, that price increase in the asset brought so many new people into the cryptocurrency markets, and the world was starting to pay attention to this obscure financial product, this obscure computer science product, however you want to slice it. And what me and Warren saw was an opportunity in that to build a financial institution that can serve a market that was unserved. And so we wanted to build a wallet that could onboard 30 to 55-year-olds, because we felt that all the companies at that time and today were targeting millennials. They still are targeting millennials. They're not user-friendly, nor are they customer-sensitive toward older customers. And so we launched Invest Bank, which is an online banking platform that allows you to manage your long-term crypto holdings and creates instruments around that. But really the novel thing that we did, the thing that kind of set us apart, is we decided to have an offline banking strategy to accompany our wallet. So think about Coinbase, with a little bit more user-friendly towards older audiences, but then we wanted to create offline banks or bank branches or whatever you want to call them to onboard people into this asset class. In other words, exactly what a bank does in order to help people get access to their services, we wanted to do for crypto. So we acquired a TD Canada Trust branch in Toronto to run this pilot, and we turned it into an Invest Bank, which is what I'm going to show you here. So essentially, I mean, that's available on YouTube. It's like a commercial that we made for InvestBank. That made us pretty, I don't know, popular, notorious, however you want to deem it. Definitely, we were different, and we were tackling an audience and a market that no one else was really tackling. And so that process, that product, that venture allowed us to expand our reach from a global perspective in 2018. So in 2018, we launched the Invest Group, which is available at invest.com. Essentially, we said, you know, we have a great software development apparatus here. We clearly have a great physical distribution apparatus. How can we take this and apply it to other crypto startups? How can we form a more ubiquitous portfolio of companies? And that's essentially what the Invest Group is. It's an incubation platform, private equity, like holdings company where we invest in crypto startups. We have done that in about 26 different cases all around the world. We've rebranded some of them, we've internalized some of them. Really interesting stuff. I mean, these companies are working on everything from exchanges, which is what we're going to talk about today, all the way to federated learning, decentralized artificial intelligence, obviously banking, crypto news, the whole, you know, breadbasket of the crypto industry, I would say. And you know, the last thing I'll talk about the parent company is what we're doing here in India and what we're duplicating across the world. What we realized is that our long-term advantage is actually going to come from our ability to provide a end-to-end deployment platform for companies that want to deploy crypto products. And so we launched the Invest Campus, which is incubation centers, a network of incubation centers whereby entrepreneurs can take their business and come here, seek investment, and of course seek deployment. So the largest one that we have is here in India. You can go research that at bangalore.investcampus.com. You can't actually see it because I'm sitting like at the end, but behind me is the actual Invest Campus. During the day, you know, almost about 120 engineers work here. During the night, you have all of the accounts operations, finance, business operations that happen. On the bottom floor, we have a training facility called Invest Labs. You can go to investlabs.com, which is for us to train blockchain engineers, certify them, and then obviously hire them. And we have a production studio, which is where I make all my videos, which is called Invest Studios. We'll be releasing a ton of content about that in the days to come. We are then taking this Invest Campus idea and duplicating it. London, Toronto, hopefully will be destinations, but you know, there's some other interesting ones as well. So why am I boring you with that information? It is simply because you need to have an understanding when you're getting involved with the company, even as a customer, how committed is that company to the product? How committed is that company to the technology that it espouses? So, I mean, I hope that I've done a reasonable job to explain that, you know, we're completely obsessed, probably to our own chagrin sometimes about this technology. And, you know, we're expressing that obsession across the world in meaningful ways. So now that you have an understanding of who you're dealing with, let's talk about what you're dealing with, which is of course the very interesting cryptocurrency markets. In order to explain the opportunity with crypto, I use coinmarketcap.com. For those of you that don't know what coinmarketcap.com is, that means you're not in crypto probably. CoinMarketCap is the most popular website in crypto. It aggregates all the cryptocurrency prices. It is essentially like a Yahoo Finance for cryptocurrency, a Bloomberg, and you know, all thousands of cryptocurrency prices. Volumes are here. To give you guys some perspective on scale, CoinMarketCap.com has about 80 million unique visitors every month. It is easily the most popular crypto website. It is the 5th most popular financial website in the world, beating out Bloomberg and Yahoo Finance in most cases. And so it shows you the type of tremendous interest there is for cryptocurrency prices. And that's where I want to talk about today. See, I think everyone on this call and more or less most people that hear about crypto understand there's a financial opportunity to be had here. And most people are geared toward looking at that as a speculative investment, like how the gold rush affected investors to affecting gold, how obviously equity markets have made investors speculate on stock prices, how commodities do that for commodities. Crypto has done that for digital assets. How can we make money by buying cheap and selling high? How can we find out about the next hot crypto or the next hot coin? Well, that is exactly the type of behavior that spawns 80 million people to go and check CoinMarketCap every day because they want to know the price of Bitcoin literally every day and see if the $100 that they invested or $100,000 that they invested has gone up or down since then. And what I want to take this webinar to do, what I want to accomplish through global exchange at large, but definitely on this webinar, is I want to ensure that you know that's not where the money is. Is there money in capital appreciation? Of course there is. Am I a long-term holder of Bitcoin? Of course I am. Do I think Bitcoin is probably the most lucrative financial asset on planet Earth? I would say so. However, for the average person getting involved into cryptocurrency, or for the masses that want to migrate into it, it is not, their wealth is not going to be generated by them investing tremendous amounts of money into an asset they barely understand. And so we wanted to build a counter where the masses can actually benefit from this technology. And that is where I want to focus your attention, not on the price speculation of crypto. Just give me 1 second as I talk to William. 1 second. Where's the volume adjustment? Sorry, guys, just making a housekeeping announcement over here. Let's talk about CoinMarketCap here. What is the price of Bitcoin today? The price of Bitcoin is 7,165. That's 3% up from yesterday, probably a whole 10% down from where it was a couple weeks ago. All of that should be irrelevant to you, unless, of course, you bought a couple weeks ago. The two numbers on CoinMarketCap that are the most important to people that want to make money in a very sustainable fashion are these two numbers: market capitalization and 24-hour trading volume. Two numbers that most people don't even look at when it comes to asset prices and markets. What does market cap mean? Well, the market cap of crypto right now is 195 billion US dollars. Well, that seems like a large number, and of course from absolute terms it is a very large number, but from the perspective of financial market it is a drop in the pan. That there are almost 10 equities on the New York Stock Exchange, individual stocks, individual companies that have higher market capitalizations than that, which give you an idea of how small that is. Today $200 billion is about 1/4 of where the market was in 2017, at the end of 2017, when we experienced that great price increase. At that time, it was about 800 billion. So it's about 1/4 the price, which means there's a lot of room to run. So that's an important number to keep in mind because it gives you perspective as it pertains to global adoption. Okay, the next number is even more important, which is 24-hour trading volume. 24-hour trading volume represents how much US dollars worth of cryptocurrency exchanged hands in the last 24 hours. How on exchanges, decentralized, centralized, doesn't matter, how much money was exchanged. That is 113 billion. Now, if you don't understand economic concept like trade reflexivity, you might not really realize how insane that actually is. But if you've traded in other financial markets, you know how absolutely insane that is. That is more than half the market capitalization of the whole asset class, which is saying, like, if you take the entire market capitalization of gold, like a bullion gold, you would say that that's about 11, somewhere fluctuates between 9 to 11 trillion dollars. If half of that was traded yesterday, it would destroy the market. It just wouldn't be able to process that, which means that money moves at a speed within cryptocurrency. Oh, sorry, someone's asked, where's the tab? It's right here. I know, they don't make it very big. It's right at the top here. So money moves around between hands in crypto at a faster rate as a higher percentage than any other asset class. And what does that mean for you? You have to start thinking, well, someone is benefiting off of that. Someone is profiteering off of that transactional volume. Well, who are those people? Those people you would call cryptocurrency exchanges. Those are technology platforms fundamentally, which provide wallet and order book infrastructure so that people can transact in cryptocurrencies. And they are the ones that captured all of that volume yesterday. And they probably propagated a considerable amount of that trading volume. And the genius or the secret, which I don't seem to be that secret because it's kind of obvious once you uncover it, is that they make money whether the market goes up or down or sideways. See, an exchange doesn't care about the price of Bitcoin. It cares about how much you care about the price of Bitcoin, because that will influence you to buy or sell faster. And whether the price is tanking or going up, it doesn't change the transaction fees that they're set to make off of that. And so what I love about CoinMarketCap is that they not only give you all the crypto prices, but they also give you all the exchange volumes. So all you have to do is click rankings and click exchanges, and reported volume means whatever volume the exchange reports, and adjusted volume is based off of CoinMarketCap's due diligence, what it actually is. So we're gonna click adjusted volume, and we're gonna see right here, now you don't have the prices of cryptos anymore, you have all of these exchanges that are doing different types of volumes. Again, adjusted volume, not even reported. Reported would be like double or triple this because they're reporting some obnoxious volume sometimes, but this is adjusted volume. So what you can see is the number one exchange in the last 24 hours is OKX Korea, which is a subsidiary of a very popular Hong Kong-based exchange called OKX, which is also on here. So to put that into perspective, the main OKX is not even what I'm talking about. I'm talking about OKX Korea. In the last 24 hours, had $8.8 billion worth of trades that happened on their platform. Okay, why is that important? Well, how do these platforms make money? They make money based on fees. So let's just be very generous and say they're only taking a 0.01% maker-taker fee, which means in the last 24 hours, OKX Korea cleared $8.8 million in profit without taking a bet on the price of Bitcoin once. Without having to speculate on the asset, they're able to generate incredible value for themselves and their shareholders and whoever their constituents may be. And that is the real sustainable business in crypto, because it does not involve you to put up a lot of money by speculating and calling the markets, but more importantly, timing the markets, which anyone that's traded knows is not easy. And anyone that claims that it's easy is probably not, has not traded enough, I would say, in order to understand how difficult that process actually is. And you can go down the list, and these brands that you've never heard of, you might have heard of OKX. So today OKX is number one, and they're kind of popular, so you might have heard of them. Most of the top 10 exchanges you've never heard of and you will never trade on. BKEX, Binance is popular, you've probably done it. Bit4X, kind of popular, probably more normal people wouldn't know about it. Coineel, for sure you don't know about it. P2P to B2B, definitely you'll never use it in your life. UB Global, okay, pretty popular. MXC, I've never even heard about it. That is how insane these exchanges could get in terms of being able to grow their customer base and grow their volume. And so the question lies, have they uncovered the greatest business model in the world? I believe so. I think they're printing money at scale, and people are completely willing to do it. And so are we then concluding here that all of us should start our own cryptocurrency exchange, or even concluding that Global Exchange has decided to do that? The answer is no, because we at Invest and of course the Global Exchange team have studied the exchange market for almost 2 years now and identified two huge problems that are not being solved by these guys that can be tackled. And if you can tackle them, you can generate the same type of sustainable revenue in an even greater way because you unlock it to larger amounts of people. So the number one issue with these exchanges is security. And trust me, no exchange, no crypto wallet is secure. Even Global Exchange can't espouse complete, impenetrability. But what we do know is that there are game theoretical equilibriums within all of these structures that either incentivize secure actions or de-incentivize, make it less incentivized to do it. And these exchanges centralize large amounts of crypto because that's how they actually provide the instant liquidity that you guys love to use. In other words, for you to go on Binance to be able to change $100,000 worth of Ether into Bitcoin requires a tremendous amount of liquidity from other people's crypto assets on that order book. Well, that exposes all the people that are leaving funds on Binance to have somewhat of an issue in terms of centralized security problems. And we can talk in detail about how the network architecture actually fails itself over time. But just to give you guys a layman's perspective on how this works, and again, elements of our platform still have some of this. I'm not saying that this is bad. I'm not saying that they're malicious by any means. Now, some of them are actually malicious. Some of them are illegitimate operations that will run off with your money, but most of them are trying to do the right thing. I'm saying that fundamentally their business model will not allow them to create systems that are secure. And why I'm saying that is this. Let's do a simple example. There are approximately 16 people on this webinar. Okay, great. Let's say 16 of us have $1,000 worth of Bitcoin each on our cell phones, right? So we download, some Bitcoin wallet native to our cell phone, and we have $1,000 on there. So now there's 16 cell phones with $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. If a hacker wanted to get into this, let's say I'm the hacker and I wanted to get in and steal some money here, I would have to break into 16 encryption schemes. Okay, well, that seems annoying, but it's not the reason I wouldn't do it. The reason I wouldn't do it is because I have no guarantee that there's money when I break into Shorupan's phone. There might be $1 million worth of Bitcoin, or more or less likely there might be nothing, especially when you're talking about average people's phones or computers. However, let's say all 16 of us take the $1,000 worth of Bitcoin that we have and put it all on Binance, for example, because we want to get fast trades and we want to speculate. Well, what's happening literally is you're moving $1,000 of cryptocurrency from your cell phone into one person's computer, from 16 computers to one computer. And now instead of there being 16 $1,000 cryptocurrency wallets, there is one $16,000 cryptocurrency wallet. And so now as that same hacker, I have to break into one encryption scheme, doesn't matter how strong that is. It's the greater thing that you have to take into consideration is I know that there's a guaranteed prize. As long as I know that there's a guaranteed prize, it's worth it for me to spend the money to break that wall. That is the game of cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is not a matter of building firewalls or building impenetrable network architectures. Really, what it's about is incentives. How lucrative is it for a hacker to hack into your platform? If the hacker knows that there is a lot of crypto to be had after you get through this, even if you put in millions of dollars worth of cybersecurity, he should spend millions more to get into it because there's billions to be taken. And that's typically the story of these exchanges. Over $8.4 billion worth of crypto assets have been stolen from exchanges since 2009. Does that mean exchanges are bad? No, they actually do a great service in terms of providing liquidity to markets, but there is an architecture problem. Number two, and this is the second problem that we want to address. The second problem is super, super important and gets overlooked. There are over 600, probably more, because I've been saying that for a couple of weeks now, and I know that almost every week another 3 or 4 launch. There's over 600 cryptocurrency exchanges. Again, most of them you'll never use. You guys know the popular ones, Coinbase, Binance, etc. But there's many, 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 many cryptocurrency exchanges. And that creates complexity in the marketplace, right? The complexity and the fragmentation of crypto markets will cause a lot of problems. Number one problem is adoption. When things are complicated and fragmented, new uneducated users don't want to get involved with it. If Facebook required you to learn HTTPS or Unix command line, you would not use it, and they would have never gotten any users. And that is the big thing. It's too complicated right now what's happening in the crypto markets because there's no barrier to entry to start an exchange except, let's say, $250,000 in development expenses. That's a pretty small barrier to entry. If you compare that to starting a stock exchange, you couldn't even, get anywhere with $250,000. And so there's all these exchanges popping up, all these platforms popping up, and that actually does worse for adoption in the long run. And so simplicity, complexity, or the inverse of that complexity is the other problem here. How did we want to tackle those two problems? And do we claim to have some genius solution? Actually, no, we don't have a genius solution, but what we do know is that most of these solutions can find themselves in history. So if you look back to the advent of personal computing, which you can make an argument started with, HP and Linux. In HP and Oracle, with the way that they configure databases and hardware, or more people would say that it came with Microsoft and Apple in the late 70s. Well, the key thing that Microsoft understood, I think the genius of Bill Gates above his computer science prowess, is actually to do with the fact that he realized that hardware would become more or less a commodity business. In other words, Lenovo, Dell, HP, IBM, it doesn't matter who makes the machine, it matters what you use to interface with the machine. And that's why the idea of creating an operating system was an obsession of Bill Gates and Paul Allen, which is, how can we standardize this incredible technology so it doesn't matter if you're using an HP or a Lenovo, it will be the same interface and you can have a common sense of simplicity. Unification, in other words. Though you'll never actually have to learn how to use a computer, you'll just learn how to, in other words, abuse a computer, use application stacks built on top of it. And that changed the world, that idea that there should be an OS for the hardware, computing hardware revolution. We didn't even get a chance to realize that because we were just using Microsoft. We really didn't care who made the computer. Apple obviously is the competitor, but that's it. That's where you did. Google did the same thing with Android. It doesn't matter if it's a Samsung or a Huawei, or it doesn't matter who makes the hardware. I guess maybe for Huawei matters now because they're not getting to use Android for long. However, Android became the software that changed the way that we used our mobile phones. So we wanted to do the same thing. We saw that all these cryptocurrency exchanges are great, but how can we, in other words, unify this experience? And we saw the same level of complexity arising, not just in cryptocurrency exchanges, but also in decentralized lending markets, which is a way of doing collateralized crypto lending. We saw this in algorithmic trading platforms. We saw this in betting platforms. We saw this in a variety of verticals in ways that people can interface with the markets, that there's overwhelming complexity and fragmentation. This needs an OS, an operating system, and that was the birth of Global Exchange. Global Exchange is not an exchange, despite its name. Global Exchange is an exchange operating system which attempts to create a unified user experience for both developers and users to interact with the cryptocurrency markets. In other words, we take all of the platforms that you know and love and try to simplify the usage of it into one OS. And you can go through globalexchange.com and see the different verticals that we have: GX Trade, GX Broker, GX Decentral, IFOs, GX Token, GX Markets, and all of these are different application stacks. So I'm just connecting my MetaMask there. All of these are different application stacks right here. All the apps are here. Meet the GX family of apps. We developed 7 apps ourselves within our OS, which is called GX Nitrous, gxnitrous.com. You can find it. It's already live. And what we wanted to do is create a homogenization. I'm going to show you how we did that. Again, each of these products have their own websites, have their own literature, have their own documentation, and I can literally do hour-long, probably day-long webinars on any one of these apps and how they work and why they're important. However, unfortunately, I don't have that much time, and I know you guys definitely don't have that much time. So I just wanted to hover over them quickly as I try to explain why they solve the problems that I outlined in the previous section. The core app here is called GX Trade. That's where it's all started with, although right now, I think there's probably more excitement for some of our other apps. However, GX Trade sits at the crux of what we're trying to do. GX Trade's really simple. It takes all of these exchanges, all the exchanges that we talked about, your favorite ones, but 170 to be exact. And it puts them into one platform whereby you can leverage, you can trade directly on those exchanges without having to navigate their interfaces or their application stacks. In other words, it's Expedia for cryptocurrency exchanges. You go on the app, you say, I want to book a hotel in New York City from this date to this date. That's the equivalent of me saying, I want to swap Ethereum for Bitcoin at this price. And Expedia then goes and aggregates all of the places that will service that demand and will filter it based on location, price, stars, proximity to sites, whatever. And we do the same thing for exchanges in GXTrade. It's a routing engine that uses a smart order routing algorithm to identify different liquidity pools. In simple words, this is what it looks like. This is a video on YouTube that kind of highlights what the GX platform does, but it talks about GXTrade, which I'll stop and go over. First is over. The monsters in my head are scared of love. Trying to become, it's enough. It's never too late to change your love. So don't let me steal your heart. Don't let me break your stride. I'm going to pause the video right there just to highlight what's going on. Actually, I can do this even within our Nitrous app. So here's GX Nitrous. This is the actual OS. By the way, just some of the nomenclature. GX Nitrous is like our Windows, Microsoft Windows. It's the name of the operating system. Within the operating system, within GX Nitrous is all the different apps. Just like within your Windows OS, you have Internet Explorer, Microsoft Word, you have whatever else. Unfortunately, I actually use a Mac, but so I don't know too many Windows applications, but you guys get the point as to how it works. And then in 2020, we're actually opening GX Nitrous up so other developers can build apps, and it would create this type of exchange app store. But that's GX Nitrous, just for you guys to not get confused on the names, because I know, again, there's a lot of names involved here. So as soon as you log into GX Nitrous, or when you log into GX Nitrous, you see all the applications that I talked about on the left-hand side. Some of them are in full production, some of them are in beta testing, some of them are just for development purposes and will be coming out shortly, but the ones here are either in beta testing or live. If I go to GXTrade, I'm assuming that it can load. Again, it just gives you the prompt that, hey, it's still in beta testing, but essentially once it's in full form, which it should be within the next little bit of time, you will be able to see all of the exchanges that we integrate with on the left-hand side right now. Bitfinex and Kraken are there. You'd be able to click Bitfinex or Kraken, and this is all Bitfinex data. This is Bitfinex's order book, live order book that you're seeing. This is the trade history from Bitfinex. If I did Kraken, you would see Kraken. You can click it and then pick which asset from Bitfinex you want to see, obviously. And then you can execute trades directly here from your balance in Global Exchange, your balance within Bitfinex, and you can configure it in a way that works for you. You can make deposits and withdrawals into the exchanges. You can do so many different functions. And obviously, if we can put our 170 exchange, the world's most popular exchanges here, then there's a real benefit to users that are already using those exchanges to come here, because they get price realization from multiple parties, and that creates lots of trading opportunities just for themselves, on top of the security advantage of decentralizing the risk away from the custody of the exchanges. That is the core app. It is, again, right now finishing up its beta testing rounds before it goes into full production. But just like that, there are 6 other apps that have equivalently as remarkable, in my opinion, promise. GX Markets is a decentralized money markets. You can look at it at moneymarkets.io, which is basically a way for you to leverage your crypto assets in a decentralized lending pool and access dollars liquidity against that. So at scale, it's a lending market that generates real-time interest rates, but more importantly, can help you collateralize your crypto and borrow against it. And not only do we support our own GX markets, but we support other very popular platforms like Compound and MakerDAO. And so again, giving you access to the broad-facing DeFi market there. And just, like that, you can go through all of the different apps and see how they come together to create this ultimate crypto OS is how we would define it. One of the key things about our platform is we're agnostic. We don't care which crypto you like. We frankly will give you support for all of them. We'll give you a fiat to crypto onboarding ramp through our Vault product here, which is probably the most popular product right now. For all of them, we'll give you support for any ERC20. We will give you support for any exchange, any type of algo bot, any type of DeFi market. Because what we are in the business of doing is creating scalable development architectures that allow this two-way network of multiple apps and multiple users to engage in them. Okay, I appreciate you guys sticking with me this long because I know that was a mouthful. And again, like I said, I feel like I'm doing a tremendous injustice by hovering over some of these apps because they're so important in and of themselves, but put together, they have a remarkable prospect to change the crypto markets. But without distribution, there's very little that this remarkable technology can do. And that's why you guys are on this call. You guys are on this call to figure out why and how you can take advantage of what we've built here. So this is the kind of the ask, which is how can you now position yourself within that crypto market as an exchange, as a market maker, as someone who provides all of this OS services. First and foremost, how did we even come to where we are? So let's say we built the technology because that's what we know how to do. The next question that me and my team had once we realized that we can pull this off from a technology perspective is, oh wait, what are we gonna do from the perspective of distribution? How are we gonna get this product out there? And we thought a lot actually, because again, we have a lot of exposure to different crypto communities and non-crypto communities as well in the traditional financial space. And so the big question that polarized me and still polarizes me to some degree is why isn't cryptocurrency more popular? I think everyone has their reason for that. People think, oh, it's because there aren't ETFs yet, or because there isn't regulation yet, or because there isn't, well, there's so many different reasons people give for that. But I think I wanted to find out from the actual person who hasn't used it yet. So we did some polls around April, actually around March of this year, 2019, because that's when the first product was really ready for testing. So we wanted to kind of test the waters with it. So basically the polls we ran on a couple of different traditional financial websites were like, if you don't use crypto, why not? And we wanted to make sure that the people that we were targeting for this poll were like more or less unsophisticated in definitely in cryptocurrency markets, but maybe even in financial markets. And the three top answers that we got were again, not surprising, but surprising. The first one is it's complicated. They espoused that the reason that they stay away from crypto, or they haven't even thought of going into it yet, is because it's too complicated. Well, actually, that's a very fair criticism. Cryptocurrency fundamentally is a computer science phenomenon that takes advantage of something called consensus algorithms to achieve mass consensus over multiple distributed systems. What I just said, even to someone who has a master's in computer science, might make theoretical sense, but practically is almost impossible to do. And so it's a very complicated concept, financially and from a technology perspective. And so I can understand why people stray away from it. And so we threw our hands up and said, okay, that's fair, it is complicated. Second reason that they gave, it's hard to access. This one was kind of more shocking because like growing up in North America, it's not that it's easy to get, but it's not impossible. You have Coinbase, you have CoinSquare, you have some exchanges that you can wire money to or bank transfer money to and get you crypto. But once you start to look at it from a global perspective, you realize that as soon as you leave North America, it becomes almost impossible to access. And as soon as you leave the Western world and you're not in the large mega cities of Southeast Asia, it is technically impossible to access. And so without access to it, you will never actually think about getting it, especially because it's already complicated. And even within North America and different Western markets, you also have to consider the fact that it only is applicable to people that are capable of providing KYC documents to these large exchanges. And that limits the amount of people that will, even if they have those documents, are willing to give up or are willing to forego those documents. And so access to it becomes more or less pretty difficult. And you can't get it at a bank, so it's not a natural asset that you would be able to buy into. So okay, we threw our hands up at that and said that's fair, it's hard to access. The third reason they gave was that it was ephemeral, and ephemeral, they didn't use that word, but that's basically what they were trying to crystallize with their answers, which is it's hard to grasp. Physically, there's no asset, there's no cash, there's no gold, there's no real estate, I can't touch it. And it's abstract thinking, right? It's a cyber concept. It fundamentally is a network protocol. How can you touch and or tangibly identify Bitcoin? You cannot. We said, well, that's actually the genius behind Bitcoin. It's digital and virtual, but most of the world doesn't see it that way yet. So when these three answers came back to us, we're like, holy smokes, this is not really problems that we can solve here with some technology innovations, with some marginal technology innovations. And so, we continued to do some research and ponder, postulate about what we can do. And we came across something a little bit more staggering, not in crypto, is over the last 50 years, over the last 100 years, but definitely over the last 50 years, all mainstream financial instruments consumed in North America and Western Europe, and now in Asia as well, but definitely in North America and Western Europe, all have those characteristics that I just named. All three of them. All three of those characteristics are used by every single mainstream financial instrument except real estate, which I don't consider to be a recent phenomenon that's been as asset since the beginning of time, gold as well, beginning of time type of stuff. But in the modern era, in the synthetic instrument era, you would call it, bank manufactured products, they all have those characteristics and they're all adopted by the mainstream. Insurance, mortgages, registered investments, derivative markets, mortgage-backed securities, even some form of equity trading in that sense. The list goes on and on and on. And most people have these products, pension funds. Most people have these products, and they are all of the things I explained. They're all hard to understand. Trust me, I will assure you, if I called one of the attendees on this webinar out and said, explain to me your insurance policy, you would not be able to. I would be super shocked if you explained to me the intricacies of that policy. I would be even more shocked if you can explain to me the intricacies of how the insurance company assures that policy. Is it hard to access? Well, the argument there is, it is absolutely hard to access unless you know someone who's selling those products, in which case that's a bank or some institution. And number three, it's ephemeral. You cannot touch any of those things that I just said. Literally, none of them exist. In space-time, as we would call it, they're all abstract concepts created by banking institutions. Doesn't mean they're bad or good. They're abstract. They're a derivative of an underlying asset, more or less. So what's the deal? Why were those assets adopted and crypto wasn't? Well, one argument is that crypto's new and it'll take some time. That's pretty fair. But I think there's actually a little bit more to be said there. The one commonality behind all those financial assets is they have a standardized global network of brokers for all of those assets. Millions, actually, millions of brokers for each one of those assets whose job every day is to wake up and to go and sit with clients to first create the need for those products, because this is the reality about financial services. It's not food. You don't wake up thinking about mutual funds. You don't wake up thinking about registered investments. Definitely you don't wake up thinking about insurance liabilities. And you don't wake up thinking about crypto unless you've already invested into it. But normal people do not. And that's the case with all financial products. It has to be explained. It has to be introduced. The need has to be created. And then once the need is created by the broker, they decomplexify a very complicated instrument. They take the idea of insurance, which is an actuarial, mathematical, statistical construct, and they make it simple. They relate it to the user. And the third thing is they make it tangible. The idea of tangibility for financial products does not come from the product itself, but comes from the person who's sitting across from them or sitting across from a Zoom and explaining it to them. And crypto obviously has no such thing. What cryptocurrency has, as opposed to that, is a fragmented army of partisan enthusiasts. In other words, everyone in crypto is obsessed with their own thing. They're obsessed with their own coin, they're obsessed with their own platform, they're obsessed with their own exchange, they're obsessed with their own investment product. They could care less about the adoption of the overall industry. If that happens as a default of their own success, they're thrilled. If it doesn't happen and they're still able to profiteer off of it, they're cool with it. Again, I have no issue with any of them. I'm just saying that's the incentive structure that currently exists. So what we realized is that, wow, there is a real opportunity here to create a platform and currency agnostic OS, meaning we don't care about what platform the user wants to use and we don't care about what currency he wants to use. That can be distributed by an army, a standard network of brokers. GX brokers is what we call them. You can call them retailers, you can call them merchants, you can call them distributors, you can call them affiliates, you can call them agents. However you want to dice it, obviously different jurisdictions have different regulatory regimes around each of these. So we call them GX brokers because that's an internal name that we gave to it. And what a GX broker is it's someone that is able to onboard people into crypto. That is it. We don't care that a GX broker does anything but that. If you can espouse the benefits of being involved in the cryptocurrency markets, you are qualified to be a GX broker. And we give you a way for you to profit from that. Because what we did is we took all of the apps and all of the transactions within the OS, like there's fiat token transactions, OTC transactions, digital broker transactions, and we are paying the fees that a normal cryptocurrency platform would take to the brokers, almost 100%. On digital broker transactions, 100%. OTC, 100%. On tokens, it's a derivative of all the token revenue. It is the first platform that pays out for every transaction, for every customer that you bring in, every sub-broker you bring in, unlimited levels for the lifetime of the customer. It is essentially the power of having your own exchange or DeFi platform, everything without doing any software development, any compliance, legal infrastructure, banking infrastructure, or really having to maintain everything. You're not even doing the sale of the actual products. What you're doing is onboarding them into crypto. And that is what a GX broker does, and a GX broker gets paid to do that. And the reality is, right now, we launched this product. It took our company to the next level, I would say, that because it unlocked so many people across so many different platforms, so many other companies that said, wow, I'm part of company X. And because what my people need is Bitcoin, GX is a great solution to get them into that. Because before GX, I would have sent them to Coinbase, and Coinbase gives me nothing. Okay, we do the same thing. We give you everything. Your users can get everything on Coinbase plus so much more, but we pay you for that. Similarly, you have all of these different types of characters that are now actually able to monetize their influence and their ability to perpetuate cryptocurrencies, and they take advantage of that within GX. And that's what a cryptocurrency GX broker is. And that is where you have the ability to partake in global exchanges growth. Very simply put, now go back to GX Nitrous here. If we looked at, if we looked here, you can see that I have GXT. GXT is our native cryptocurrency. There is approximately 350 million GX tokens that have been issued into the market. And what they do is they regulate who can become a GX broker. In other words, to become a GX broker, you have to stake 1,000, a minimum 1,000 GX tokens. You can get them from us, you can get them from exchanges, you can get them from other GX brokers, you can get them really from anywhere because they're a circulating coin. But you must stake 1,000 in order to be a broker. As soon as you stake 1,000, you unlock your broker tab here along with your other apps, and now you can grow your business. Your entire business is regulated by one link, gxcheckout.com / your affiliate ID or / your username. Like in my case, my username is Shorupan1. All I do is I take my link and I get people to register for GX Nitrous for free within 1 minute. As soon as I do that, they become attached to my brokerage forever for the rest of time. And every transaction they ever make, whether if they make any at all, I get compensated on. If they ever become a broker, now I override that. If they ever become a broker that becomes another broker, I override that as well. The sign-up process is less than a minute long for my customers. And once they get their GX Nitrous account using my link, they can do everything within GX Nitrous as well as become a broker. And I can then keep track of all of my action within my broker statement, keep track of all of my commissions, my withdrawals, and grow my digitally distributed brokerage like that. In order, right now, the company is selling the ability to become a GX broker or the tokens that are necessary for that for $500 US. And that is basically the entry cost. Once you have your tokens, no one can take your brokerage away from you. If you ever want to stop being a GX broker, you go and sell off your tokens on an exchange or to another person who wants to become a broker or to another person that wants to just collect GXT because they understand that if the only way brokers can sign up for, only way people can become cryptocurrency brokers is by holding GXT, well, it makes a lot of sense to hoard as much GXT as possible. As you may have already picked up, there's only 350 million, which means that even if we sold all 350 million, there'd only be a maximum 350,000 brokers ever, because it's 350 million divided by 1,000 tokens each. We will never have 350,000 brokers. I will assure you of that. I would be surprised if we ever got to 250,000 because people will start hoarding coins. The price of becoming a broker and the value of owning a brokerage will not only become an earning power thing, like some of our brokers are earning money, obviously, from their residuals and their commissions, but then owning a brokerage that's a transferable asset that's denominated as a token, obviously, and that becomes very lucrative. So that's how you get involved. You don't need to be a broker if you don't want to. You can be a customer completely free. You can use all the crypto apps that you ever wanted in your life at one place. You can OTC, get Bitcoin, get out of Bitcoin into US dollars. Soon we'll add euros and all the other fiat currencies. If you want to make money the same way that exchanges make money, that is exactly how you do it. You are so early to hear about us and to hear about crypto. At the same time, it is a remarkable accomplishment. What has been done, not just by our company, but by the overall markets, but our company presents a way to take advantage of that in a non-aggressive, non-partisan, agnostic fashion. And so that's realistically all of Global Exchange, where we come from, what we're up to, where our logic is, and what we're trying to develop here. So now I'll open it up for questions. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to all of that. It's a lot of information. If this is your first time hearing this, trust me, watch this video again or watch the other recorded webinars on YouTube, because nobody gets this on their first try. I would be shocked if you got it on your second try, because there's so many different elements to it and so many different aspects where you can take advantage of it. So again, you can ask questions in the chat. You can put your hand up and ask questions in the panel, and I will answer them. Well, what I have shared on my screen right now is actually the checkout. Like when you send this is basically your gxcheckout.com. Send it to your friend, they put in their email, they sign up on the next page, they're in. Okay, I will assume that there are no questions. Oh, there we go. Is 1,000 GX tokens $500 US? Heather, absolutely great question. That is not actually the case. 1,000 GX tokens. We are selling the majority of the GX tokens in circulation right now because we have most of the GX tokens. I'm actually about to release the token economics video where we go in detail about how the tokens are distributed, what's the price, why is the price what it is, where you can sell it for on secondary exchanges, what correlates the price on the secondary exchanges, all of that. But to answer your question in short, we're selling the tokens in our platform for 0.0054 Ethereum, which today is probably like 75 cents. I'm approximating. So for 1,000 tokens, you're actually gonna have to pay $750. However, if you are signing up before January 1st, 2020, you don't need 1,000 to stake. You actually only need to stake 450 tokens and you still unlock your brokerage. So it's essentially a promotion grandfather policy that the smart contract that is baked into the smart contract that unlocks your GX broker. So you only have to actually have 450, which you can do with 500 US dollars. It's a great question. How do you buy GX tokens within the platform? Super simple. Let me share my screen. Go back to this. All right, my customer signed up for free. He's in, he's bought some crypto, he's traded, he's done some, whatever he's doing, it doesn't matter. He wants to now become a broker because he realizes you're making the brokerage fees. Why wasn't he make the brokerage fees on his customers? So what he does is he can click trade, he can click asset, click GXT, and buy it either with his account balance, which is his US dollar account with us, his Bitcoin, or his Ethereum. You would say, I want to buy $500 worth of GXT, or he can type in the GXT amount, click buy GXT, and he will be having the GXT then in his wallet here, which then he can just stake by clicking stake. Amazing stuff to GX and beyond. Thank you so much, Mackenzie. I appreciate that. I know you guys are doing an incredible job expanding. What I'm really impressed by what's happening, especially out of the Toronto team, which I know you're a part of, is how global you guys are thinking with this. There's an immense market within Toronto itself that is under-tapped. I mean, you can, just within that city, you can grow a colossal brokerage business, but the real opportunity obviously is from a global front. It's so easy to distribute globally. And so I'm really excited about what you guys are doing on that front. Again, I see it as the simplest opportunity. I'm sorry, Ibrahim is asking, can we consider GX token as a currency? You be question. Sorry. I think, again, thank you for expressing your newness to the market, because I think that allows me to explain it in a different way. What it is it's technologically speaking, it's an ERC20 token, which means it's an Ethereum token. It's a token that's based off the Ethereum protocol that is governed by a set of smart contracts that we've made public. That's from a technical perspective. From a regulatory perspective, it is a utility coin that has a specific purpose within our platform, which is the ability to become a broker. From a conceptual perspective, which regulators and computer scientists don't care about, but from a conceptual perspective, which users typically care about, what it is, it's a format of value exchange that represents ownership in the GX network. So it could be looked at like a currency in that sense, but definitely not from a regulatory perspective and or a computer science perspective. From Tyrell asks, can you explain how easy it will be to trade and what app we will use for trading? I will do it's very easy to trade already, actually. If I want to do a couple different ways to trade. Number one, I could do a quick trade right here. I could click trade and click convert, and I can convert between almost 300 different cryptocurrencies using our GX Trade operating system. But this is only good for one-off trades, not if you're like a day trader that wants to do like 20 trades in an hour. That's good for one-off trades between hundreds of cryptos, and it would get facilitated like this and go into whatever wallet, even if we don't support the wallet. If you want to trade within GX Trade, you can do it right here in this app. And you will actually, it's really easy to trade, super, super simple, because it will allow you to, like I said, connect to any exchange. And all you have to do is select the exchange, select the asset. In this case, it's already selected Bitfinex BTC USD. Do I have any BTC? I do have a teeny bit of BTC. I would put in what I want to sell. If I want to do a limit or market order, I click execute, and it would execute on Bitfinex. And there'll be different configurations of how you want to structure your relationship with the exchanges that we plug into. In terms of mobile app, we have our first mobile app coming out in about 2 to 3 weeks time, which was not actually a trading app, but more of a wallet interface app and a artificial intelligence chatbot type of app, which is going to be really cool for new users. Our actual full trading app, I have on my phone here, the APK for it, and I've released a video showing some of the functionality. It's very, very cool, but that looks probably more like it's going to come out early January. So you'll be able to trade on that mobile app. You can always trade on the web app, and the web app will be made mobile responsive as well. From one signed up before January 2020 as brokers, there need to top tokens as there would be a minimum buy-in by then. So that's a great question. As it stands today, the answer is yes. However, we are strongly considering grandfathering in the brokers that signed up before now. I think that has more to do with the token circulation at that time as we lead into we'll make an announcement well before January 1st about that. And you'll have a grace period even within there to make sure that you top up tokens, and there'll be places that you can buy them below market price and things like that. But as of now, yes. Okay, those are some really great questions. I appreciate all of you guys, and I appreciate your questions because the questions you guys have, other people have as well. Not just people on this call, but the people that are going to watch it. You know, the hundreds, if not thousands, of people that will watch it on YouTube will also have the same questions, and it's great that people now get to understand some of those things because those are things that I didn't touch on. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time. I greatly appreciate it. I look forward to working with you. All I can ask is create a free account and mess around with it. Tell us where things are good. I'm sure there's lots of bugs that you guys can help us. There's lots of ideas that you guys can help us with. It's a way of growing this crypto community in a great way. And the only other chance, shameless plug, join our Facebook group, GX Bitcoin Brokers. Even if you're not a GX broker, join it. It is a centralized place for crypto news, market action, what's happening in the field, and just all things crypto and GX. And it's a great place to network with other influencers all around the world. So join our Facebook group, talk to your upline, get involved with GX from a customer's perspective, and then explore how you can transition into making this a full-time business for yourself. All right, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and we will talk soon.